Right now, somewhere on Earth, somebody is staring at their phone like it contains nuclear launch codes. They typed, "Hey," then deleted it, then typed, "Hey," then deleted that too because now it sounds desperate. Then they finally send a meme because apparently modern romance is just emotional warfare with Wi-Fi. But here's the weird question. Did ancient humans do this too? Not texting, obviously. There was no "scene at 8:42 p.m., no dating apps, no profile picture, no "I love hiking and good vibes." Just a cold night, a smoky fire, dangerous animals outside, and one nervous prehistoric human trying to make eye contact across the cave without looking creepy. And believe it or not, that awkward little feeling, that fear of rejection, that desire to be chosen by one specific person, that may be one of the oldest things about us. Because love is not some modern invention. It did not begin with poetry. It did not begin with weddings. It did not begin when somebody finally invented candlelight dinner. Love is much older than that. Older than cities. Older than farming. Older than written language. Maybe even older than the word love itself. So today, we are going back before civilization to ask one strange question. How did ancient humans actually fall in love? To understand ancient love, we have to go way back. Not back to Rome, not back to Egypt, not even back to the first villages. We are going back millions of years, to a time when our ancestors were not fully human yet. They walked upright. They had hands, free to carry things. They probably had opinions. Terrible opinions, maybe, but opinions. And one of the biggest changes happening in our ancestors was social. In many primates, mating is controlled by size, strength, and intimidation. The biggest male gets access to the females. Everybody else stands around pretending they are not upset. Very peaceful, very emotionally healthy, zero drama. But in the human family tree, something different started happening. Over time, males and females became closer in body size compared to animals like gorillas. That matters because huge size differences usually suggest heavy male competition. One massive male, many females, lots of fighting, lots of chest beating, basically a prehistoric gym parking lot. But when the size gap becomes smaller, it can suggest something else. More cooperation, more bonding, more long-term partnerships, not perfect romance, not flowers, not handwritten notes, but the beginning of something different. A world where survival was not only about being the biggest, it was about being useful, reliable, trusted, the kind of person who would not run away the moment a hyena started looking at the group like a buffet. And that may be where the roots of love began. Not as poetry, not as magic, but as trust. Now let's talk about the first romantic gesture. Not roses, not chocolate, not matching bracelets. Food. That's right. The original love language was basically, "I found this dead animal and thought of you." Beautiful, elegant, possibly covered in flies. As early humans became better hunters and foragers, food sharing became incredibly important. And not just random sharing with the whole group. Some theories suggest males bringing food back to specific females and children may have helped strengthen pair bonds. In simple terms, if a male was going out into a dangerous world, burning calories, risking injury, and coming back with food for one particular female and her children, that suggests something deeper than random survival. That suggests investment. And investment was a big deal. Because prehistoric life was not easy. Every meal mattered. Every calorie mattered. You did not have a fridge. You did not have a backup plan. You could not open DoorDash and say, "Yeah, let me get the mammoth combo with extra berries." If someone brought food back for you, that was not casual. That was care. That was commitment. That was prehistoric romance. Imagine a caveman walking back to camp, proud of himself, dragging some half-chewed antelope leg. And across the fire, someone sees him and thinks, "Wow, he provides." And boom, love. Or at least something love-adjacent with terrible hygiene. But here is the thing that made human love different from simple attraction. Human babies are ridiculous. Adorable, yes? But biologically, ridiculous. A baby deer can stand up quickly. a baby chimp can cling to its mother. A human baby comes out like, I will be needing full service for the next several years. Human children are helpless for a long time. They need food, protection, teaching, carrying, comfort. And they need all of that while the world outside is filled with predators, hunger, injuries, cold nights, and rival groups who may or may not be friendly. So for ancient humans, raising children was not a one-person job. It took mothers, fathers, grandmothers, aunties, uncles, older siblings, the whole group. But pair bonding still mattered because two people cooperating over time could give their children a better chance. And this changed what made someone attractive. It was not just, who is strongest? It became, who will stay? Who will come back with food? Who will help when things get hard? Who will protect the child when danger shows up? Who will not disappear into the bushes the moment responsibility arrives? Because in prehistoric life, loyalty was not just romantic, it was survival. Modern dating asks, what are your hobbies? Prehistoric dating asked, can you help me keep this baby alive while wolves are being weird outside? Different vibe, same anxiety. Now let's talk about something ancient humans started doing that still controls us today. They started decorating themselves. Shell beads, ochre pigment, feathers, animal teeth, carved objects, early jewelry. Basically, ancient humans invented drip. And once that happened, it was over. Somebody walked into camp wearing a shell necklace and suddenly everyone else was like, oh, so we're dressing up now? And this is important because decoration takes time. If you are starving, freezing, and being hunted, why spend energy making yourself look good? Because looking good sends a message. It says, I am creative. I have skill. I know how to make things. I have enough resources to spend time on beauty. I am not just surviving, I have style. And that matters in attraction. Humans still do this. We get haircuts, we wear cologne, we pick outfits, we take 19 pictures and use the one where our face looks the least betrayed by gravity. Ancient humans did the same thing, just with shells and red pigment. Imagine someone 100,000 years ago carefully rubbing ochre on their skin before seeing someone they liked. No mirror, no bathroom lighting, just vibes. And maybe a shiny shell necklace that said, I may live in a cave, but I am not basic. That is romance. That is branding. That is prehistoric Instagram without the algorithm. But did ancient humans actually feel love? We cannot interview them. We cannot ask a Homo erectus. So when she looked at you across the fire, did your stomach do the little butterfly thing? He would probably just stare at us and hold a rock defensively. Fair. But we do have clues. Modern humans have brain systems tied to attraction, attachment, pleasure, grief, jealousy, and bonding. And by the time Homo sapiens appeared, humans had brains much like ours. So the emotional machinery was there. But one of the strongest clues does not come from romance directly. It comes from care. At Shanidar Cave, archaeologists found Neanderthal remains that showed serious injuries and disabilities. One Neanderthal man had injuries that likely made survival extremely difficult. But he lived for many years. That means other people helped him. They fed him, protected him, kept him alive. In a harsh Ice Age world, that is not small. That is huge. Because caring for someone who cannot immediately give back is not simple survival math. That is attachment. That is community. That is love in the broadest sense. Not necessarily romantic love, but love as care, love as loyalty, love as, you are still one of us, even when you are weak. And once a species can do that, romantic love does not seem so impossible anymore. Of course, love has a dark side, jealousy. Yes, even ancient humans probably had drama. No phones, no DMIS, no, who liked your picture? And somehow, still drama. Because if you form a bond with someone, and that bond matters for survival, then anything that threatens it feels dangerous. Your brain treats it like an emergency. That is why jealousy can feel so powerful, so irrational, so embarrassing. One minute you are normal. The next minute your brain is acting like a rival tribe has entered the cave. And in ancient life, Mate competition could be serious. Violence happened. Rivalries happened. Possessiveness happened. Because love was not floating above survival. Love was tangled inside survival. But here is the flip side. The same emotional system that can create jealousy can also create devotion, protection, loyalty, that deep need to stay close to one person. So when people say love makes humans irrational, they are not wrong. Love is ancient software running on modern hardware. Sometimes it makes poetry. Sometimes it makes bad decisions. Sometimes it makes somebody text, "Who is that?" at 1:13 in the morning. Same ancient monster. New technology. Now let's talk about music. The oldest known flutes are tens of thousands of years old, carved from bone and ivory. But music is probably much older than the instruments that survived. Because voices do not fossilize. Clapping does not fossilize. Drumming on wood does not fossilize. A nervous, prehistoric dude singing badly near a fire definitely does not fossilize. Which is tragic because I would pay to hear that. But music matters because music is emotional technology. It lets humans say things normal speech cannot handle. Before love songs had lyrics, there was rhythm. Before wedding songs, there was movement. Before somebody said, "This one goes out to someone special," there was probably a human sitting near a fire, trying very hard to look casual while playing something for someone across the flames. Which is basically the ancient version of posting a song on your story and hoping one specific person knows it is about them. Humans have always been embarrassing. That is our true evolutionary gift. So were ancient humans monogamous? The honest answer is messy. Very human. Humans are not built exactly like gorillas, where one dominant male controls many females. But we are also not perfect lifelong swans floating through life with zero temptation and excellent communication skills. Most evidence suggests humans evolved around pair bonds, two people forming a socially recognized partnership. But those bonds existed inside larger groups with culture, conflict, jealousy, cooperation, and probably plenty of prehistoric gossip. So ancient love was not perfect. It was not a Disney movie with mammoths in the background. It was messy. People wanted each other. People fought. People stayed. People left. People got jealous. People made gifts. People raised children. People grieved when someone died. In other words, they were human. Painfully, beautifully, annoyingly human. And here is the part that changes how you see everything. Love did not appear after civilization. Love helped create civilization. Because once humans formed bonds, they had reasons to cooperate. A partner, children, family, a group, a memory of people they cared about. That kind of attachment changes behavior. It makes you share food. It makes you protect the weak. It makes you teach children. It makes you care what happens tomorrow. And once humans care about tomorrow, everything changes. They build shelters. They make tools. They tell stories. They bury the dead. They pass down knowledge. They create meaning. Civilization did not begin because humans suddenly became smart one day. It began because humans became connected. And love was one of the strongest connections. So the next time you are overthinking a text message, just remember this. You are not being dramatic. Well, maybe a little. But you are also doing something ancient. That nervous feeling in your chest? That fear of rejection? That ridiculous hope that one specific person chooses you back? That is older than cities, older than money, older than writing, older than every love song ever written. Long before humans had words for love, they were already living it. They carried food back through dangerous landscapes. They made beads and ornaments. They played music by firelight. They stayed close when the world got cold. They cared for the injured. They chose each other. Different caves. Different bodies. Different dangers. Same feeling. And somehow, through ice ages, predators, hunger, disease, heartbreak, jealousy, bad decisions, and probably the worst flirting in history, they figured it out just enough to keep going. Which is why you are here. A walking result of millions of years of awkward ancient romance. So yeah, love is weird, love is messy, love is terrifying, but it may also be one of the oldest things that made us human.